Hey, welcome back to the C-Space Studio. I'm your host, James Kotecki. We are here at CES 2026, and I am here right now with Deloitte's Chief U.S. Marketing Officer, Scott Major. Thanks so much for joining us here at the C-Space Studio. Yeah. Really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, so Deloitte, I think most people have heard of Deloitte, but what does your brand mean? You're the marketing officer. What does your brand mean now in 2026?
Yeah, look, it's so interesting. We're a 185 plus year old brand that was born out of the audit and assurance business, which is no longer the largest part of our business. So, I mean, really today, if you think about Deloitte, we span audit and assurance, tax and consulting in a large way. And the common thread through that is professional services enabled by technology. And that's really what we're becoming. And we're using technology heavily in our consulting business, all the work we do for our clients, but really across tax and audit and insurance as well. So yeah, technology enabled professional services.
So then what brings you to CES 2026? What's your message here?
Well, our message here is innovation loves company. And really what we mean by that is you've got this really interesting inflection point right now where technology is really driving creativity forward for humans. And, you know, any bold innovation doesn't happen by technology or creativity alone. It happens by people interacting and partnering and creating different types of strategic alliances. And that's what we mean. Deloitte is a major convener of technology companies, of clients, of marketplaces, and we like to bring all of that together to create big impact.
Yeah. And so let's just throw AI into the mix here. Why not?
Okay.
We might as well get into the AI part of this conversation right off the bat. So then how is AI changing what that means to convene people, to add innovation and technology,
sure.
humans in the
mix? It's pervasive. It's embedded in everything that we're doing, both in the way that we operate as an organization and the way that we deliver services. And it's really enabled us to get much deeper into the product side of the business. So we've been doing AI for years, using AI in the solutions that we build. We're now using AI pervasively in how we deliver those solutions to our clients. And we're now in the product business. So we're building hardened products using AI technologies that we're licensing to our clients. And we're doing work in much different ways. It's not all your traditional consulting time and materials work. We're really moving more into licensing and really into the outcomes market, where the work we're doing, we're getting paid on the impact and the outcomes, not necessarily the time spent doing it.
And how are you messaging that AI component to your clients or your potential clients in terms of what they should expect?
I mean, how are we messaging it? We're messaging it boldly everywhere as part of every message that we can get out, really.
But are you keeping the human? But is the human balance still important?
The most important, I think. And look, we're very much looking at AI as an enabler of human performance, as a superpower, not as a replacement. And we've been pretty clear about that, I think.
So how are consumer attention patterns changing? This is something I love to talk about here in the C-Space Studio. As a marketing professional, how do you see those patterns of attention changing, and how do you reach people in this new situation?
Yeah, look, well, first of all, we don't necessarily market to end consumers in the way that some of the consumer electronics companies and product companies might. But look, the trends that we're seeing across the industry, people are consuming content differently. They're consuming it on different platforms, and video is increasingly a medium that people are using to get the message out. We're using video much more extensively, both long form video in documentaries and real explainer videos, as well as really interesting episodic 1 minute sound bites that you might see on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram. So I think video, and then you start looking at how you can create video with AI, finding the right balance of where do you draw that line on authenticity in using AI for video is really important. We're really working through that right now. We don't have a clear answer for it, but I think that's a big
it seems like
change in the market.
It seems like if you're educating people, maybe they might care less about whether it was AI generated or the extent of it, as long as they feel like they're really getting some value out of that.
Yeah, it depends on what you're trying to say, for sure.
How about live experiences, though? I know that's another big important part.
Huge for us. I mean, look, I'm a B2B marketer. CES, this is my lower funnel. And we do 150 events like this plus a year, right? Anytime I can put our experts, my partners and directors at Deloitte, are experts in different topics in rooms with our clients or future clients, potential clients, to build relationships, talk about what's happening in the market. That's, digital marketing is important for us, but events, getting people in rooms, this is where it's at for us.
It's interesting because with all this technology, and obviously we're all interested and excited about it and want to embrace it, that just physically being in a room with someone is the most important. But it kind of makes sense too, right? Because that's the biggest scarcity, right? The fact that you're here right now, that you've given me your time to do this interview, says something, as opposed to it even being virtual. So there's something to that.
100%. Look, no one is buying a multi-year business transformation off of a click in an e-commerce store on the internet. These are long conversations where we have to invest a lot of time. You have to trust the people across the table. Regardless of their technology, you have to trust the people across the table from you that they're going to do whatever they can to deliver on what you need. And I think we do that really well.
I want to talk about executives as influencers, right? Anyone who spends any time on LinkedIn is well aware of this, and obviously they can be on other platforms as well. How do you think about orchestrating that, controlling that, giving people complete freedom to be their own thought leaders? How does that work for you as the head of an organization that wants to put these experts out there and get people connected with them?
An area that I'm pretty passionate about. Look, we have an evolving influencer strategy around social media, and I think where we are is very good. I'm not saying that we're done, but we've taken our most eminent experts at Deloitte, and we've built a social media team that supports them. I have about 80 of our most senior executives at Deloitte in the program right now, in the US at least. And look, we never want, I don't want to say never, we don't want to use external influencers. Anytime I'm putting an influencer out on social media to talk about something, I want that person to be able to show up and actually do the work, right?
Okay.
From an authenticity standpoint, I don't want to go hire someone that has 10 million followers to go talk about a Deloitte topic. I want the most preeminent expert in a topic to go talk about it. And look, then we can put media behind that, but the authenticity of the way that we're doing it, to use our actual partners and leaders that are going to show up to do the work is really important. So we have a couple of PR firms in the mix with us. We meet with each of these leaders every 2 weeks. We come up with a 2-week plan. We write their posts. We collaborate back and forth on those posts to make sure that they're correct and authentic. And we help manage it for them, because a lot of people are uncomfortable doing it on their own.
Yeah, and it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work,
right?
Yeah.
So the fact that so I think people can take some solace in this. Everybody who's trying to become an influencer, it can take a team of people to actually pull this off.
100%. But it's been one of our most effective channels.
And then to the authenticity piece, so speaking about the lower funnel, maybe you trade off huge wide reach at the top of the funnel. But then when you get lower in the funnel, it's the people who really would want to engage with that person are actually the ones to be buying that, and they'd be getting the services from that person. So do you also 100%. Jumpstart relationships even in a way once they are becoming clients?
100%. If you think about the platforms that we're doing this on, those 80 executives, their networks are the networks, right? They're already connected to the leaders at various companies that we want to connect with. So that's the audience. It's a much different approach. We're definitely doing stuff at the top of the funnel, right? Much larger, broader reach. But when we come down the funnel, we're talking to specific clients that we want to target, and we know who they're connected to on social media.
We're almost out of time here, but I want to talk about sports for a second. How do you choose sports sponsorships? How do you think about that as a marketer?
Yeah. Look, something I'm really passionate about, and since I've been in the role, something that we've really doubled down on. To me, sports stories are just so interesting, right? And so we never take a sponsorship and just put a logo on a car or at a stadium. All the sports sponsorships that we pick really have two different key components. One, they need to be one of our clients. We're doing meaningful, substantial, transformative work for each of the sports organizations that we take on. And they also have to align with our purpose. So if you look at McLaren F1 racing, if you were at the North Hall, you'll see the McLaren car with the Deloitte logo on it in a Deloitte booth. we've done substantial work with McLaren over the past 6 years, back from when they were towards the back of the pack, all the way till this year, where they are the 2025 Drivers and Constructors Cup World Champions. We've done work to help build their race day platform that takes in all the telematics data, uses AI, digital twin technology, to help them figure out how they're going to run their strategy. Where do they pit the car? Where do they use DRS? Where do they put the hards or softs on?
Yeah.
And so the work we do for them is meaningful. The story that we can tell about that work is applicable to so many different industries and sectors.
It's a blend of marketing and then the work that you're actually doing for them in a singular story.
Right, so we get the brand, we get this amazing story, but then the hospitality piece of it, we really want to bring our clients for these amazing hospitality experiences. Olympics is a huge client of ours. You know, we bring hundreds of clients through the Olympics. They get to see this amazing behind the scenes look at the Olympics that no one else gets to see, and they get to learn about the work that we do standing up the technology that runs the Olympics. It's pretty amazing.
Thanks so much for joining us here today your name is Scott Major. This is the C-Space Studio, but thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. The U.S. Chief Marketing Officer of Deloitte, Scott.
Thank you for the time. Appreciate it. Take care.
And thank you so much. I'm James Kotecki. This is the C-Space Studio. Coming up next, we have Instacart, Disney, Zeta Global, and Target. You won't want to miss it, and if you stick with us, you won't have to. Just a bit of a break here. We'll be right back. I'm James Kotecki at CES 2026.